Welcome to Apps No Entrees, where we review the crypto native apps that you can use daily. We're your hosts, Nick Shaheen and David Ward. David Ward, who we have here today?
Today we have Tony, the founder of Griffine, which is a pretty popular on-chain AI copilot, a terminal with two types of agents for people to use on Solana: personal agents, which will perform a series of your on-chain tasks and gather all the information you need, or specialized agents, which are pre-built for specific strategies or purposes. Yeah. Token sniping, NFT flipping, what have you. It's great to have you, Tony.
I appreciate it. Thanks for the invite, guys.
Yeah, of course. Welcome to Apps No Entrees. Love to know, what is Griffine and, why does it exist?
Yeah, for sure. So just like David mentioned, we want to become your on-chain assistant you can use every day. But I think more than that, what we want to be is an AI-powered super app for the crypto user. So what I mean by that is you download Griffin, you come into Griffin, you have a wallet that's already created for you. And when as easy as typing, you're able to either A, create an agent that can do research for you, that can pull accounts and give you opinions, or B, you can go straight into your favorite experiences, whether it's getting DeFi yield with Lulo, or creating art as an artist with Agent Warhol. So what we want to do really is make crypto as easy as typing.
Sweet. And so it's Griffin. I think David and I both said it in a different way, but okay, Griffin.
Yeah. I said this yesterday. Griffin or Griffane, none of them are wrong. I honestly switch between the two, but I've said Griffin so much the last 2 days that that's the one that I stuck with this week.
Yeah, I like Griffin too.
Yeah. I think there's an interesting thing around giving like an AI company or AI agent a human name. So I think Griffin might be the smart way of pronouncing it, but hey, I have nothing against Griffane as well.
Might have to let Griffane or Griffin decide once it turns on.
Yeah, for sure. Actually, yeah, we should ask that right now.
That's perfect segue. So we review apps. Would love to get the demo, have a look into what Griffin's structure is, and walk us through some of the ways it works so far.
Yeah, for sure. Happy to dive into it. So what I'll do is share screen here. Share my screen. That's probably easier. There's two parts to Griffin. We also have a mobile experience. Want to make sure people can see my camera. Yes or no? Yes. You can see me on the camera. Cool. Yeah. So we have this desktop experience, but we also have a mobile experience here. It will be on the Solana mobile phone, and that's my iPhone. I have it there. Happy to dive into it in a later episode. But there's two parts to Griffin. Number one is your personalized agent. What your personalized agent does is make it easy for you to do the things you do on chain quickly. So what we found is people usually do a lot of research on the web, or usually do research on Twitter, or usually looking at different websites to get information either about a token or a project. And so that's what we've seen a lot of popular use cases done for Agent Napoleon, at least. And when you get here and look at Agent Napoleon, there's your instructions. So you can actually, if you are someone who's used ChatGPT in the past, you can come in and copy and paste your prompt that you're already in love with. Or maybe you're someone, hey, can you help me create a research agent? Maybe you're someone who's not really sure how you want to create an AI agent or what you need your AI agent for. We've created an agent sensei who can actually walk you through creating an agent step by step. So we did this with Jakey. I think it was on Wednesday. Jakey, I'm Soul Jakey's a big creator on Solana, and I'm working with him to create his personalized agent. So here I can personalize my agent. I can give him my goals, give him feedback, give him constraints, and then walk through the actions that are currently available. I'll pause here. Maybe there's some questions that come up, but if there's no questions, I can move on to maybe more parts of Agent Napoleon.
One question actually that is sort of coming up is, what is the actual LLM behind Griffin? Is it currently ChatGPT, or is there the ability to pick and choose your preferred sort of model?
Yeah, I think what we're really focused on is creating really good experiences, having really good experiences, and overall reliable LLM. And I think where we're headed is having a multi-model feature where you're able to go back and forth between different models. So something that we're really, really focused on is regardless of what LLM you're using, what actually matters is if you as a user is coming to Griffin and wants to research or execute a trade, it has to be able to do that for you 100% of the time. And so more than what the actual backend is, doesn't matter. The product actually has to work. So hopefully that gives you some context to how we're thinking about models and like adding different models into the product.
One quick follow-up. I don't want to go too sort of off topic, but I'd be interested if you're currently at the stage of experimenting with the option behind the scenes for
internally we are.
Yeah. Is there a particular LLM that you see more responsive to sort of on-chain actions?
That's a good question. That's a really good question. Not really. I think like all of these LLMs provide similar results in a different tone. And what we want to do is give users the ability to personalize the tone that they want to go around. And that tone comes from the context that LLM is then trained on. So things like, Claude are usually, they're usually more upbeat. They're empathetic rather. Like Claude is a very empathetic model is something that I've noticed. And it's also a very quantitative model. You can use it to do a lot of pretty up to date, like really good coding. OpenAI is very it's like talking to a McKinsey consultant kind of. It's like very like fact of the matter and like very straightforward. But that's mostly just because of the context that's loaded onto it. So we in the back end are going through the popular models and behind the scenes are going through the models that are obviously really popular and trying to figure out which makes sense for users and which users will care about. But the higher level thing here is we need to have an actual reliable product that gets jobs done 100% of the time, not 80% of the time, 75% of the time.
That makes sense. I think you can keep going if you want to go into other agents or how else that agent performs.
Cool. Yeah, cool. So what we can do here is, sorry, I want specific crypto websites. What I can do is, give him a website. I love Blockmates, but I also love this. These guys that maybe you've heard of is the Bankless team. So what I can do is just say, hey, I want to pull from specific crypto websites. I'm thinking Blockmates, and we'll go into all of this. Those links were brought up just for show. Blockmates and Bankless. Sound good? Cool. So I think people on the stream and then you all will get the idea is you're able to go through here and actually start to create your agent for you. So let's actually take those two links that I just popped up and then dive deeper into Agent Napoleon. So let's just say we created a special prompt for Agent Napoleon. Great, we have our instructions. Now what we want to do, and I think this is this is actually a bigger point for founders and also for kind of just users in general is what AI agents really are just verticalized software for specific workflows. So whatever you do consistently, either to trade or to do X on chain, where are you spending the most time? Okay, great. I'm spending a lot of time going through Twitter, spending a lot of time going through specific websites. What AI agents really do is lower that time and simplify your experience. So with your agent that you personalize, you can create autonomous tasks. So I do a lot of research and I love Sammy ETH's tweets about the AI agent crypto roundup. So I get those via an email. So I can chat with, my agent here and we can say, great, let's create a task where I get interesting roundups from the following sites. We've got, I think I copied the Bankless one. And the idea here is, look, like this personalized agent is going to be your, like you mentioned, on-chain assistant. You can give him specific instructions and specific rules in order to help you get jobs done faster on-chain. You can take all of this information from off-chain and on-chain. Right now, we just saw it pulled some information from your websites and said, great, I just created this task for you. He'll give me this task every 24 hours. I don't actually know if I gave him the time interval, but I can go ahead and change that. And then these specialized agents are to say, okay, great. We understand what you already want to do on chain personally. Here are the other things that are super interesting for you to do on Solana, whether or crypto in general, whether that's trading, whether that's DeFi, whether that's commerce, whether that's gaming. So within, a couple keystrokes, a couple clicks, you're able to get on chain. So for example, with Agent Napoleon, you personalize him through an agent, you work with an agent to create specific tasks for you. And now you can actually just have conversations with your personalized agent. So I'm going to ask an Agent Napoleon just to give me the trending tokens on Solana. So he's going to go ahead and run a query and then send those over to me. So I'll pause here before we dive into things like the specialized agent. Oh, look at that. We got ourselves an error.
Always on a demo.
Why error?
I'd be interested to know if in this sort of trending section, would this be a function that a personal agent or a specialized agent could do? If you could sort of set parameters for, tokens with X amount of volume under Y market cap, even by like Z deployer or with, Z token distribution. Because I feel like a huge, just paying for crypto is, especially with the sort of state of DEX screener, a lot of her reviews earlier were about different trading terminals and just the sort of massive promotions, like actually discovering tokens is a huge barrier.
Yeah, for sure. So we are dropping a specialized agent. I'll get away from this because we're getting some error here, but we're dropping a specialized agent with Asset Dash. So Asset Dash is a portfolio management tool in crypto, actually, Solana and Ethereum as well. And one of the really large features that they have is Whale Watch. Whale Watch enables you to see what whales or people who are purchasing at large are buying and selling. I think they have upwards of 50 to 60,000 users using that. I think daily, actually, which is really popular. So what we want to do is, or what we're doing with them is taking part of their data and some of their APIs and making it agentically available through Griffin. So you'll be able to actually do research on what the top whales are buying on Solana. And I think what the point that I wanted to make is all of that is possible, but I do think, and this is bigger than just Griffin, is it just matters what sort of data you're using with these products, because that's ultimately what these AI products become a function of, is the data that they're trained on and the data that they have access to. So, are you able to filter and start to set parameters on these different tokens? Of course, but it needs to be high quality data that is in real time and that is actually accurate before it actually, once again, is reliable enough for people to go back and use continuously. Because if you get unreliable answers from an AI, like I might as well just go to DEX Screener and check it myself, right? Like,
is that a problem that you're sort of looking? Because I imagine, I feel like a huge data point for the bear market overall was just we have this huge trough of data, but it's disorganized and tangled. And so many different startups have, popped up attempting to tackle that, just making it more readable. Are you sort of figuring out which different data sources are the most reliable currently to pull into Griffin instead of just going straight to block?
Yeah, for sure. Like, I think where we want to be is like what I mentioned earlier. Number one, a really, really reliable product, and number two, really interesting experiences. What actually becomes interesting is being able to work with specific protocols and having them either give us access to part of their data or some of their APIs. And I think that's the route that we want to go down towards, which is saying, look, commerce brand Raposa Coffee Raposa Coffee, we know that you want to increase your revenue via digital sales. So what we can do for you is if you surface some of your customer data or some of the data that you already have, the previous purchase data that you have, we can help you create, this commerce agent that will bring people down the funnel to then purchase more coffee online. And so what we want to do is work with really close partners who are trying to actively figure out how to use AI within their business. And I think, as I've been mentioning, is AI is a much bigger trend than just crypto. It's the talk of the town in all of software. And the reason AI and crypto is fascinating is because you're giving a brain, which is this agent or an LLM, a body, which is that delegated wallet, to then do actions, not just in crypto, but all over the web. And so, working with specific protocols to capture interesting data, seeing what's available out on chain with really cool companies like a Asset Dash or even like a Cookie, right? And Cookies, is it Cookies? Cookie, it's Cookie. Like Cookie, and seeing what APIs they have available, what we can work with is always top of mind, because the better data that you have, the better product that you have. And the better data you have, the more reliable it becomes. And that's just a happy customer at the end of the day.
That's a really compelling mental model, the brain to a body.
Thank you. It is. It's something the team and I we jumped up, and one of the AI agents already exist today. For what it's worth, you think of a tech fund. You think of AI agents as getting jobs done for you, but this is an AI agent, right? Google's 10 blue links is in a weird way an AI agent where it takes these words and then it's able to give you different options. But you notice how I actually have to scroll, go in, love these Oliver Cabells, I have to press a couple buttons, and then I have to put in all my contact information. A human still has to come into the loop and finish that action. And what we want to do is turn intent into action, which is understanding that you as Nick have purchased X amount of things through your wallet. And now when you search something, we can recommend the 3 things for you. And when you say this is the one that I want, it deducts the amount straight from your wallet. And I think if you just go to something like, perplexity.com, is it perplexity.com or perplexity.ai? I think it's perplexity.com. Perplexity.ai, duh. Perplexity.ai, of course, they have a one-click shop feature. They have a one-click shop feature where I can actually just go and in one click purchase right here, and purchase the sandals. Right. And I think this is where this is better than what you just saw with Google, but it's not the final form of what the internet can become. Because once you I stopped sharing screen, but because once you give these agents a wallet to do actions, not just on chain, but all over the internet, then we can actually have this real experience that everyone has been waiting, 20, 30, 40 years for on the web.
Yeah, totally. I really like that example. I'm curious how, you brought up some, competitors like Perplexity. How do you guys picture yourselves standing out from them, differentiating?
Whoa, those are big words.
What's the plan there?
Perplexity, a competitor, crazy.
But yeah, how do you see yourself separating from them, other than having more on chain? I'm sure they'll steal that idea eventually.
For sure. Oh, well, I'll go to the answer that I give the most, which is I do not think about competition because that is less time focused on building the vision of the world that I have. And what I'm really focused on is changing the way that the internet is used day to day by combining AI and crypto. And I think Perplexity is trying to disrupt what Google did with the internet's information. And what we want to do is take that information algorithm, or take all the information that has been created on the internet, all that intent data, and turn that intent straight into action by giving these agents wallets. So what about competition from Perplexity? I think the way that we view the world may be similar, but the way that we're approaching a solution to it is completely different. When it comes to other AI agent platforms within crypto, I think it's the same answer, which is our vision of the world is much different than what may be out there in the market. So when we go forward and start releasing products, it's for a different vision than what others have. So competition is great. Free markets are awesome because customers in the market will tell you what it values, but the market always pays back to companies that have bold visions and try to change the way that consumers use either the internet or interact with the world. So hopefully that gives you a bit more context to my thinking.
Yeah, no, for sure. It absolutely does. That's a future I'm looking forward to. I think, there are a few, you've been showing these different agents on screen for a minute here. I'm so curious about like what some of them are and which ones have been used the most, which ones are your favorites. Do you mind sharing more?
Yeah, for sure. Of course. Yeah. So I think the beachhead here and the one that people get really excited about are Pump Fun agents. So we have 3 Pump Fun agents currently in the App Store. The App Store is essentially the agent app store on Griffin. So our agent Sniper can snipe new tokens for you on Pump Fun if you give him specific parameters. And one of the things that we're really working on is making prompt engineering on Griffin a lot easier for people. I don't need to explain it. Prompt engineering is super important. So when you combine Agent Sniper with Agent Flipper, Agent Sniper can snipe specific tokens from specific parameters. Agent Flipper can flip them for you based on those parameters and price targets. So some customer stories that I've seen, there's a creator on Solana called Princess. She turned 0.1 SOL into around $15,000 using, which is, God, if I know, like
a lot of SOL.
God, a lot of SOL, like 15, 20 SOL, let's say, maybe even more.
75.
35 SOL. 35 SOL. Another one is Citadel. Citadel is an AI-powered hedge fund, so they actually use Griffin as the quant, and they were able to go from 0 to 500, I think around $500,000 in assets under management, and they also have a token launched through DAOs.fund that I think is doing pretty well at a $17 million market cap. So Agent Sniper, Agent Flipper have been seeing a good amount of usage and a good amount of success, I think, so far at their current state from users. When you pair that with something like Agent Copycat, who can actually, he'll just take me to the interface, who can copy trades from specific wallets as well. So when I think about what are the most popular agents currently, Agent Sniper, or it's all of our Pump Fun agents. Some of the other agents that we're really excited about, Acid Dash is one of them, hasn't released yet. Netrunner is another one which hasn't released yet. It'll be like an AI-powered crypto assistant. So they have a partnership with Solflare. Solflare will be able to pull all your transaction history, and you'll be able to hopefully have Griffin help you with your taxes. But the one that's really interesting right now, and we're starting to see some usage, is Agent Lulo. So Agent Lulo is an on-chain savings account on Solana. And so we've created an agent where you can actually access the protocol just in natural language. So back to that earlier question of like, how can Griffin help people go bankless? Is I think by lowering the barrier to entry to all of these great on-chain experiences that offer access to the capital markets in natural language is how we do it. So some of these specialized agents, right? Pump Fun, super popular. People have gone from 0 to $500,000 in asset under management by using combinations of them. Agent Lulo, where people are starting to deposit to diversify their portfolio. Agent Baxis, where you can start doing commerce on chain. So we've seen around 5 figures worth of volume in whiskey and liquor so far from this agent. So he'll be able to show you what's in stock. And then with him, you'll be able to purchase and get those whiskey bottles shipped to you, which is, kind of going back to that video or the screen share of the Perplexity idea that I sort of showed, is when you combine AI and crypto, you can really start to change the way that users interact with the web. So yeah, happy to dive more into this and some of the other agents.
That's really interesting. I feel like you're attacking the internet from many different angles, and there's so much you can already do, and I'm sure you're building for so much more. One question I had is like, is this all enabled by crypto, or are you also going to allow like, something like Apple Pay or credit cards or anything like that?
You cool with me not sharing really quickly because I just want to see my screen when I do this. Yeah, I'll show you. So here is my Griffin mobile experience right here. I can go into my personalized agent. I can hit his wallet. When I say fund, it's going to be a pretty cool button that I think everyone is going to recognize. That little Apple Pay right there where you can pay with card. So you'll be actually able to onboard and fund your agent's wallet with your Apple Pay or your Google Pay. So me and my co-founder were talking about this earlier. We were brainstorming around something around Shopify and adding a Shopify agent onto the App Store, which you can imagine a world where it's like at Shopify, show me all of the stores that accept Solana Pay. Here's like 15 to 20 of them. Hey, I want to find like this new hoodie, some boxers, and a gift for whoever. Here are like 5 to 8 different recommendations of those products. Cool. I like number 1 and number 4. Can you order them to me? Yes. That experience sounds awesome, right? Like I would love to do that myself, but then it becomes a question of how nice does Web 2 want to be to us? And then how nice and how much are we going to play by Web 2's rules? Because a lot of what we want to do, or at least how we want to interact and change the internet, I think puts us in a place where, Twitter has banned some of the stuff that we've tried to do, right? Because of like API access and kind of like restricting stuff. So I think we want to do as much Web 2 stuff as we can get away with in the current day.
Yeah. It really feels like this is the next evolution of wallets at the same time.
That's yeah, for sure.
No real follow up there. Just
yeah. I mean, here's like no. I hear you, right? Like, so here, my initial thoughts. Like my initial thoughts here are like every wallet. Okay, let me watch my words wisely. There is already existing wallets in the market that are trying to figure out how AI and agents change the way that users find value from their product. And I don't doubt that there will be a wallet at some point that will try to create an AI agent and embed it into their product. The reason they would do that is because it needs to simplify the barrier to entry into crypto. But then if that is the goal and you start to abstract how you get to the goal, it actually makes more sense for like a central exchange to do something like that then. Because that's kind of like where a lot of users come from as well. So who knows if this is the future of wallets, then every central exchange will have an AI agent. Every wallet will have an AI agent. Every DEX will have an AI agent. And all of it will be to simplify the way that people interact with crypto. But once again, I think with like these companies and startups in general is you usually have a core competency and a real focus. And a lot of the times, stuff like this may be a distraction outside of the core business. So I find it hard that, a company valued at billions of dollars, doing already $1 million of revenue will pick something up and then try something different unless their core business is in danger. So while it is a technologist's dream that your favorite wallet will have an AI tab and a quant, like unless it's making billions of dollars from them, like I don't actually think it'll happen.
Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it does. Man, I love that we're approaching it from a crypto native stance, and then working with Web 2, because the other way around just feels like it's slower, so much more red tape and not as much room to innovate or try new things. Yeah. I have one last question. Yeah. It's just about like, the 2025, 26, 5-year, like what's on the roadmap? What are you super excited about? What's coming up next soon or further down the line? Tell me everything.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. By Q2, we want to have around 15 specialized ads in the ad store, somewhere that people can come in and really start to find interesting experiences on chain that they're familiar with or that they can explore. So I think that's number one, right? Is by Q2, we want to have enough experience liquidity that people come in and are interested in Griffin and the things you can do with agents. The second is... Cool. Okay, cool. Yeah, the second is mobile. So
we're back. But I think we lost you like halfway through number one. If you don't mind, just starting over.
Yeah. That's what I thought. That's what I thought. Number one is having 10 to 15 specialized ads in the ad store. And so having this idea of experience liquidity when people come into Griffin. Is there enough interesting things to do? So I think that's number one. We want to be there by Q2, working with some partners really closely. Number two is a mobile experience. Everyone knows the Solana Seeker is supposed to come out in 2025, and we want to be, and I fingers crossed we'll be on the DApp store the day that it drops. So I think that's number two. And number three is candidly, I think we can get to 250,000, 500,000 users by the end of 2025. If the goal is to access capital, to make access to capital markets as easy as typing, and I think to kind of follow the mantra of the show is help people go as bankless as fast as possible. Then what we want to do is get Griffin in everybody's hands, and we're early access for the time being. And the reason is like I mentioned throughout the entire podcast is we want to have a reliable product that when David and Nick want to go to Griffin and get a certain job done, they say, wow, it did it with no hiccups. And then when they come to Griffin, they say, wait, not only did it just successfully trade this thing for me, but I also found a Twitter agent that can go through all of my favorite accounts and give me the specific alpha. Or actually now I just found this like small little mini game where like I'm bored and like I'm on a Spaces and I'm just going to play around with it and earn some token on it as well. So those are the three things that we're really focused on. And as I think we get a more reliable product, we'll be able to open up the product. As we open up the product, I think it'll be around this vision of how do we make access to these capital markets as easy as typing, and how do we make access to crypto as easy as typing?
That's exciting. That's one hell of a roadmap. We'll definitely be following along. Where else can folks follow along to learn more about you and about Griffin?
At griffin.com on your browser, griffin.com on X. We are going to be doing a lot more content, so just watch out on the main account and on the website. And yeah, man, I appreciate the time. This was really fun to be able to show, what I think is V0.2.5 of the product. But when we get to V1, V2, V3, I'm hopefully we can show it to you all, and people in the bankless atmosphere will have access to it as well.
I love that. Yeah, I'm sure we'd love
Thank you
that.
so much, Tony. It was really great to have you on. We'll see you out there.
Of course. Appreciate you. Thank you, guys.
Peace.